Hi. Well, we have been discerning for a company name since the day we started conceptualizing this organization. An inspiration from Holy Scripture actually prompted us to use a name that best describes who we are and our social mission. So, as a social mission is to raise the dignity of persons with special needs by enabling those who have the right attitude and the willingness to work for an income. We decided to use the name WE, which is an acronym for Willing and Enabled, our company name. And also the term we very aptly emphasizes the teamwork, the importance of teamwork that our staff has with the management team to deliver on our projects and as well as on our social mission. What inspired me to start up? Well, my wife and I are parents of a special needs child who's now a young adult, and we have been searching for a school when she was much younger could provide her with the needed intellectual development and social development as well. Ultimately, that led us to having her placed on an intensive home treatment program for her schooling. So she was homeschooled throughout her younger years. Subsequently, we decided to bring her to Australia for her further education. While we were in Australia, we were indeed encouraged by the Australian school system and curriculum, which provided for children with special needs the opportunity to attend classes alongside their classmates who are without any disabilities. And the curriculum also provided them an opportunity to go on work experience kind of attachment, and that provided these students the opportunity to learn and increase their self-confidence in learning how to work with other people, their social development, and hopefully that also helped to lead them to longer term work employment when they leave school. So after returning home back to Singapore, we were looking around for such organizations that can provide our daughter with that same opportunity. Unfortunately, we were not successful, and it was difficult to find any organization who could appreciate people with disability and help them to be able to grow into a position that they can work in with the organization. So we figured if we are having that kind of difficulty, I'm sure other parents with children with special needs would also face the same challenges. So after much prayer and discernment, we decided to use our own resources to do this. I mean, God has blessed us with, very graciously with enough sufficiency, and we decided to do that, and we started making plans towards achieving our vision and making our social mission a reality. So WE Social Enterprises came into existence in early 2015, and we started operation in July the same year. Yeah, well, in my more than 30 years of working experience, I spent most of my years in the sales and management capacity, working mainly for multinationals, companies like IBM, 3Com, Sterling Commerce, JD Edwards, and my last role was with Siemens, a German multinational. So I've spent also several years in the learning and consulting industry, where I work with corporate executives on how to translate visions and strategies into actions. My last job was the head of the Asia Pacific head for learning and development with a multinational. So while the above has provided me the contact, the people, and learning how to interact with people, it was really my years working with our daughter to help her in her intellectual and neurological development that provided us the knowledge of how to work with people with special needs. More importantly, how the brain works and how to stimulate the brain so that we can help them develop the added skills, not just functional skills but social skills, right? Needed to work in the environment. So the ability to stimulate learning is very important for us. Now, that has also helped us to better appreciate that people with special needs actually are no different from the other people without disability. Well, maybe the only difference is it may take a bit longer for these people with special needs to learn a skill. That's about the only thing, but that can be done and overcome with patience, love, and compassion. I think what is important is every one of these people with special needs, we realize they are actually also very different amongst themselves. No one is the same. They're all individuals, they're all unique in their learning ability, in their functional challenges. So understanding this, how the human brain works, help us to devise work methods, development programs that can be tailored to each and every one of these individuals, and that help us to be able to really help them realize their full potential as a human. Well, as a service provider, we focus mainly on the provision of manual services to organizations that could not justify the cost of automation to improve their productivity. So some of these projects may be either too small in volume, or they may have a specification that keeps changing quite significantly. We also provide services to customers who have ad hoc projects where their existing resources are not able to handle. So besides that, we also have customers who find it more cost effective to outsource their additional manual tasks to a company like ours, because it is quite costly to have to hire and supervise their own resources, not to mention the additional cost of renting real estate as workspace for them, their staff to work in. Right? So in essence, as an outsourced service provider, our intrinsic value proposition is really to help our customers only pay for what they really need, so they don't have to pay extra. Okay? Now, at the same time, a large part of our clientele, our customers, are from the SME sector. We also have large customers, large corporations that outsource their services to us to help them fulfill their corporate social responsibility, or CSR fulfillment. We have a banking customer who uses us time and again to help them put together gift packs for elderlies that they give to these group that they have adopted every year. Okay, so ad hoc projects like this are usually where customers need help with. Now, as a people developer, however, we focus on further developing and preparing our employees, okay, in their readiness to meet the exacting demand of the open work environment. Well, today we have employees who are all of them are PWDs, people with disability. But we are focused primarily on people with physical and intellectual disabilities, although some of them do have a combination of other areas of challenges too. So today we have about 8 staff. They come to us through from agencies such as SPD and Minds through the introduction by SG Enable. So we work very closely with them. We generally hire for attitude, meaning we look for people who have the appropriate attitude and willingness to work for their living. Okay? And then we develop them in skills, because attitudes are more difficult to change. So we look for employees who have the potential and possesses the positive attitude to want to learn. Okay? Many of our employees also come from very humble backgrounds. So very interestingly, if you see them, they are willing to go the extra mile to help the team achieve their project milestones and timeliness demands. So we generally make sure that we provide the enablement and training program to help our staff develop the skills that they don't already have, and then that in essence help them to increase their self-confidence, especially when they're able to break through the glass ceiling, which is somehow hampered by their perception, their own perception caused by their physical condition. Well, the challenges we face are actually multifold. First and foremost, we found that in general, many organizations are not prepared to pay the industry rates for work or services delivered by PWDs. The perception is that PWDs are generally less productive or capable than those without disabilities. So the companies, they prefer to hire people without disabilities to perform the work, and often they use foreign talents to help them achieve that. We also have to compete with service providers who use part-time resources from the heartlands. As often these are available at rather low cost, since there is really no overheads that they need to pay for space rental or for CPF. So we have actually lost projects simply because we are slightly more expensive by a few cents. Now, for differentiation, we also offer services to handle larger projects, especially those that require significant headcounts, storage space, as well as the ability to have some literacy skills, right, to read or identify different products and components. So this actually help us to be able to meet those project requirements that have exacting demands and timelines. And I'm glad and very thankful for some of our customers who are offering us projects that are large, more demanding, and more sophisticated, if I may put it that way. And they have come back to us on more than one occasions to continue doing those projects for them. Now, we have also faced very keen competition from VWOs, or the voluntary welfare organizations. These are organizations that receive support from public or charity funds. Okay, and we often lost businesses to them because they are able to offer services, often also delivered by PWDs, but at very low cost, way below what it even costs us to pay the salary of our employees. So we find that such practices by such VWOs are in fact counterproductive. It's really doing a major disservice to social enterprises like us, and because we employ these PWDs and we pay them industry rates, not considering CPF, training, as well as the overheads we need to house them here in this workshop. Okay? Now, to aggravate situations, we actually have PWDs that do not employ I beg your pardon. We do not have VWOs no. We also face competitions from VWOs who do not employ PWDs, meaning they actually have people working for them who are without disabilities. But because they are also publicly funded, they're able to actually do these works at much lower cost than we can offer. So we actually find that the situation further aggravates the limited number of employment opportunities that are available to people with special needs. Same time, it is my hope, right? It is my hope and vision that we could have a more regulated coordination with working with these VWOs, or voluntary welfare organizations, as well as the social enterprises, so that we can develop an ecosystem where we support one another. Why is that important? Because ultimately our goal is to help develop an opportunity where people with special needs can grow from school to work. And there must be enough organizations that are willing and ready to hire these people with disability after they leave school. If we do not encourage or have an environment that encourages the viability for social enterprise, where would these PWDs go to? Where would these students, children with special needs go to after they leave school? Lastly, I think many entrepreneurs and organizations that we spoke to, they also feel that yes, our social mission is worthy to support, and they agree with it. Unfortunately, when push comes to shove, right, they often shy away from supporting us because they find it very difficult to justify to their management why they should support a social enterprise that are for profit versus a charity which is not for profit. Actually, all we're trying to ask for is simply a chance to be given this opportunity to work for our income. We're not asking for handouts. So hopefully we will be able to get more of this support when people adopt the right mindset and perception of who we are and what we do. Well, generally, amongst the many people that we've met or encountered, many admire our social mission and the potential impact that we could bring to our beneficiaries, who are our employees. However, because social enterprises are set up as a for-profit organization, even though all we're striving to achieve is a break-even position financially, we're not a charity, okay? And these organizations find it very difficult, right, to justify why they should support social enterprises versus charity, as I mentioned before, and that's why they, I think, have difficulty coming forth to give us the jobs. We also sense that there may be a general perception that since social enterprises are for profit, why should they come help us? They should actually direct their resources to helping charity, which is not wrong. But I think, again, as I mentioned, all we're asking for is the opportunity to work for our income. We're not asking for handouts because we primarily feel that a social enterprise, which is for profit, is a better setup to raise the dignity of people with special needs, rather than being a charity where we stretch out our hands for handouts. We want to teach our employees how to fish rather than to ask for a fish, because this is more sustainable in the long term. Lastly, I'm just wondering if businesses and organizations would be more forthcoming in giving us the opportunity to work. If there are, if our tax authorities were to consider extending taxation benefits to them for using our services. Well, undoubtedly, the key stakeholders in our companies are really our PWD employees. They are and will continue to be the beneficiaries and stakeholders of WE Social Enterprise for as long as we are able to stay sustainable and achieve our social mission. The more jobs we have, the more people with disabilities we can hire, and it is our vision to grow the number of PWD employees. If we are able to get more projects, we hope to have maybe 20 or more employees with disability working for us, fully engaged and occupied on a full-time basis, so that we can continue to help them raise their dignity and serve companies that could use their services. I don't know about advice, but I think we all know that starting up a business is a rather challenging task. So doing so with a social enterprise is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Timing, locations, and knowing the right people, meeting the right people who are truly able to support and willingly do what they can to help support our social mission are all critical considerations. We need to have the required financial resources, as we all know, to keep going, at least for the first 3 to 5 years, as we establish our presence and reach out to organizations and industries. Keeping the operating cost structure as low as possible will help to keep the company viable longer, until the industries get to know us better and see what we're able to deliver, so that they can start giving us some business traction at a more sustainable level. So most importantly, I think focus on these questions as to why we start up this social enterprise, and also what are the beneficiaries, who are the beneficiaries that we're striving to help. I think these are very important questions, because they will help us to really continue, pursuing what we're setting up to do in the first place. Now, however, if the answers to these questions are very self-serving, then chances are I would suggest that we don't even want to consider starting up a social enterprise, because it's definitely not for the right reason. Okay? Now, ultimately, I think last but not least, ultimately the faith of the social enterprise entrepreneur, and of course, any divine intervention that can help to keep the organization going, to establish a positive outcome. I think that will influence how we progress and proceed from here. So that will help us to stay on course. Bye, see you again.